Sometimes I wonder if most authors gather to decide on which topics and genres they would write their manhwa on, because there are always hundreds of manhwa with the same plot. Take for example Ultimate Devouring System and 1 million attack speed, they are basically the same. And it is quite sad to read the same thing over and over. So, let me give you the best new manhwas to relieve you from the boredom of reading identical plots. Without further delays, let's get started. Coming first, we have Just a Goblin. In this manhwa, our main character is a lowly smart goblin who loves to invent mechanical tools. One day after escaping from human adventurers who wanted to kill them, he decides to capture an adventurer and find out why they kill goblins. In the process of interrogating the adventurer, they accidentally kill the adventurer and our main character gets a system. Now, with the assistance of the system, our main character goes Super Mario in his incredible adventure. This is an incredible manhwa with a lot of elements excellently fused together. And of course, it goes without saying that it is full of gold comedy. The artwork of this manhwa is similar to Introduction to Survival and perfectly complements the storyline. Next, we have Disastrous Necromancer. Our main character here died on Earth and got reincarnated in a game-like world with awakeners and dungeons. After patiently waiting for years, the day of his awakening arrived and he awakened the unique class Necromancer. This made him the only one with this class on the whole planet, and no other Necromancer will appear unless he is dead. Once he reached home after the awakening, he got his Invincible system which buffed him, making his skeleton soldiers 5 times stronger at the same level. This is a new manhwa that will keep you glued from chapter to chapter. As for the artwork and storyline, it is quite excellent so far. Next, we have the Reincarnated Assassin is a genius swordsman. Just like the name implies, our main character was an assassin who died at the hands of his master. He was kidnapped when he was still a baby and was trained as an assassin for his owner's noble family. However, he chanced upon the inheritance of an ancient expert during one of his assassination missions and got an SSS-class sword skill. Once he learned the first form of this skill, the magic spell that bound him and made him unable to disobey his master was undone. Happy that he is no longer going to be bound, he started making plans to live a free life, but he got discovered and killed by his master. Thankfully, his strong resentment towards the master helped him awaken a system, and he got reborn into the most powerful family on the continent. Now, even though his current body is sick from the moment he was born, he vows to stop at nothing to get his revenge on the former master, who is now the second strongest person on the continent. This is a new manhwa not to miss. The artwork is awesome and complements the storyline. Next, we have Moonslayer. If you are a fan of MMORPG-based manhwa, then this is for you. In this manhwa, our main character's older brother disappeared while playing a game. In order to find him, our main character joined the gaming company and carefully searched for clues. After 2 years in the company, he found the clues he wanted and also created cheat codes for himself. After this, he enters the game to look for his brother, but something unexpected happens and he becomes a skeleton unable to log out of the game. As if everything was against him, he found himself on a map filled with bosses that were millions of times stronger than him. Most of these bosses have not even been introduced to the game yet. This is an insane manhwa for MMORPG lovers. I personally like how the artwork was excellently drawn. Next, we have Records of the Demonic Path's Return. Are you a fan of Nanomachine or Reborn Heavenly Demon manhwa? Then you will definitely love this one. In this manhwa, our MC is one of the young masters of the Heavenly Demon cult. Unlike his siblings, he was not interested in becoming the next cult leader. All he cared about was literature, so he withdrew himself from the selection for the next cult leader and went into seclusion where he continued to pursue literature for years. However, once the next cult leader was chosen, his brother killed all his siblings including our MC, even though he had already been in a remote corner of the cult without any interference. I must say that the MC is quite naive to think that he can survive in a place like the Heavenly Demon cult without seeking power. Thankfully, he got a second chance and regressed to when he was still a child. Now, he is dead set on defeating his brothers and avoiding the future tragedy. This manhwa is quite awesome, as it will keep you glued from chapter to chapter. Next, we have Introduction to Survival. In this manhwa, humans have lost their grace just because of one man. This man won the World War and set plans with long hours of brainwashing to make humans believe that true success always comes by stepping on others. As a result of this man's influence, humans have become like demons who will do anything to achieve their goals. Our MC, who is kind by nature, is living in this world, and after some twists and turns, he joined the revolutionary group. But he was found out and his wife was killed in the process. Now, the beast inside him is awakened and he is determined to get revenge on the man's son who killed his wife, along with the father who won the World War. This is another intense manhwa with a unique storyline, and the artwork is quite unique as it looks more like colored paintings than drawings. Next, we have Martial God Regressed to Level 2. The BattleNet game, which was seen as just another game, turned into humanity's nightmare. After the release of the Space League, the game turned into a survival game for all organisms in the universe, and mankind represented by Earth kept failing until it was deemed worthless. Upon this decision, humanity was deleted from existence, but our MC was the only one not deleted. This was because his skill Nameless Divine Art resisted deletion. The gods then saw potential in him and sent him back into the past with his memories intact. Now he is determined not to let Korea be wiped out and to prevent his niece's untimely death, because the days after the deletion of Korea were like hell. Though he was ranked 7th in the world, he was mistreated by the country he moved in. This manhwa is incredible, with a fast-paced story without leaving out any important information. The artwork is also incredible, so do check it out as it already has a lot of chapters. Next, we have the Night King who returned with a god. In this manhwa, our MC reincarnated in a world of sword and magic from Earth. Later on, he became the Holy Knight and king of the country he reincarnated in. However, because of another country's king, demons invaded their world and many kingdoms fell. The MC led his holy knights and fought until he was the last human remaining. Even so, he kept fighting for 200 years until he vanquished the invading demons. Unknown to him, while he was fighting for the past 200 years, his world turned into a dangerous dungeon connected to Earth. When he returned to Earth through the gate, he found out that Earth had changed and there were quite a lot of powerful people. Now, for him who knows how rotten Korea is, he did not let me know that he was initially from Earth. He started acting like a king from the medieval era, scheming to build his power and conquer some territories. This is quite an awesome manhwa to read, and its artwork is top-notch. Coming next we have Dae Sung Returned from Hell. In this manhwa, our main character was pulled into hell on his graduation day. In this place, he is forced to eat raw meat and fight for his survival. Thus he began leaving the barbaric life in hell, endlessly fighting and killing demonic monsters in order to find his way home. Luckily, he also got a system that helped him greatly in conquering hell. After 75 years in hell, he became overpowered and fought the demon god, after which he returned back on Earth. However, his body on Earth was in bad shape in the suspense animation and the planet has changed too. Now, Earth is full of dungeons and monsters, and his family is in huge debt because of his hospital bills. With his experience in hell and the system, he decided to create a better life for his mom and sister while completing system tasks to get his powers back. This manhwa is awesome and has a good storyline, though the MC exhibits fiendish characteristics most time, probably because he ate a lot of demons in hell. Next, we have the Ultimate Devouring System. This manhwa is still a fresh manhwa with less than 100 chapters. The reason why it made it on our list is because it has almost no unnecessary explanations of powers. Just like the name implies, our MC has a devouring system, which allows him to devour anything with spiritual energy. The system uses the devoured energy to boost his strength and gives him devouring points, which he can use to purchase techniques and weapons in the system store. The artwork of this manhwa is quite awesome and goes along with the theme of the story. The character development and plot twist are top-notch, making it the perfect manhwa for beginners. Next, we have Beast Familiars for All, Awakening of Mythical Talents. Speaking of manhwa that bring new world-building elements to the table, it is undeniable that there have been quite a few successful manhwa over the decade, where the MC is in a world where humans and beasts become companions. And yeah, in this manhwa our main character is reborn in such a world, where to level up he trains beasts, and makes them overpowered thanks to his system. This manhwa is quite awesome and I strongly recommend it for people who are into shonen. You will be amazed by how clean and attractive the artwork looks, and the MC is quite a likable fellow, unlike the usual naive shonen MCs who need a lot of assistance. The next recommendation is Unrivaled Necromancer. In this manhwa, our main character is the strongest among the 9 strong humans in the Tower of Gods and Demons. 7 of the other strong humans could not stand him being the strongest, so they plotted and lured him where he can't endlessly summon his army of undead. After a magnificent battle, the 7 guys succeeded in killing him and started their plan to dominate the tower. Unknown to them, the MC had a soul-related skill that helped him to reincarnate 10 years in the future. Now with this body that is way better than his initial body, the MC is set to climb the tower once more to get his revenge. This is an incredible manhwa where the main character is unrestrained. Though it was dropped a month ago, it has 25 chapters as of August 7th. The artwork is incredible and the storyline mixes leveling up with the gods and the return of the disaster class hero. Next, we have Evil Dragon as Reincarnated. Revenge begins at the age of 5. In this manhwa, our MC who was initially a dragon died at the hands of humans, but he got a second chance and was reincarnated as a human being. He was initially a 1,000-year-old dragon waiting patiently to exact revenge on mankind, because the whole dragon race was exterminated by humans, leaving him all alone in the world. This is an incredible manhwa where the main character becomes what he hates. Though it is a new manhwa, it has already 30+ chapters. The next recommendation is My Disciples Are All Big Villains. In this manhwa, our MC transmigrated into the body of an old man at the end of his road. Not only was this old man the patriarch of the Heavenly Demon Pavilion, but he was also the biggest villain who had raised 9 disciples. Each of his disciples was a renowned villain vicious enough to even calculate their own master. As soon as our MC woke up in his body, they were besieged by the top 10 experts in this world. Now, our MC is faced with enemies both outside and inside, on top of this body being weak with only a few days' worth of life energy. Thankfully, he got a system and with it, he set to defend his new place and reform the villainous disciple. I strongly recommend this Manhua as it doesn't have boring cultivation panels. The artwork and fight scenes are really amazing, coupled with a bit of comedy. Coming next we have Reaper of the Drifting Moon. If you are a fan of Legend of the Northern Blade like me, then this is definitely for you. In this manhwa, our MC, who is an orphan and struggling to survive in a cruel world filled with martial artists, was kidnapped overnight by a group of assassins. He was then thrown into a dark pit where he couldn't see anything. From then on, it became a horrible struggle to survive, but thankfully, he endured it all and became an assassin. But he soon found out that he was not the only one that was captured, and that there were many other kids like him, and this is how the higher-ups of the assassin organization used them to complete tasks given to them by big clans. This is a hot revenge manhwa like Legend of the Northern Blade, with a fiery-paced storyline like Solo Leveling. It has incredible character development and great artwork that complements it. Next, we have It's Over. Empress' husband is actually Invincible. In this manhwa, our MC was summoned by the Empress of the Great Yan Dynasty to become her husband at the time of life and death. He also got the strongest supreme system, but he only wanted to be the ultimate soft rice prince of the Empress. So he resolutely rejected the system, but he didn't expect that the strong system would suddenly change into a dog-licking system. The system discovered that he was a creature from the super high-dimensional planet Earth. It tells our MC that it can only become his slave system. Haha, here is an author who makes us Earthlings proud. The system proceeded to tell him to please control himself, as he might accidentally kill it. This is a manual where the MC is crazily overpowered but decides to hide his powers. The artwork is satisfactory, and the MC has a funny way of reasoning that annoys his enemies, though they can't do anything about it. Next, we have Golden Mage. Do you love manhwas in a setting where sword and magic reign supreme? Then this is the manhwa you are looking for. In this manhwa, our MC lost his parents at an early age and had to work like crazy his whole life just to repay the huge debt they left behind. One of his many jobs was playing games as a pro gamer for a team. However, one day his identity as a pro gamer was discovered by his classmates. As a result of this incident, he got closer to a female classmate, after which he thought this was his chance to start a love life, but dies unexpectedly after an accident. Thankfully, he got a second chance and was reborn in a world of sword and magic. This manhwa gives the vibe of Mushoku Tensei at first, but I must say the MC's mother is quite the beauty. Ha ha ha. Anyways, this is an awesome manhwa for fans of magic world-based manhwa. Next, we have My Little Brother is the Academy's Hotshot. In this manhwa, during the last battle with the king of the dragon race that killed countless humans, the MC lost his comrades and biological brother. However, the moment he slays an unidentified dragon that appears before him, he is sent back in time to his days as an academy student. This time, he vowed to kill all dragons so the past doesn't repeat itself. But in the past, he has regressed into his older brother. A genius warrior doesn't exist. His older brother was a major player in the final battle, so he had to fill in the empty spot of his brother. Now, our MC tries to prepare as much as possible before the strongest dragon king, the 7th dragon, appears. This manhwa has good artwork and storyline. I especially love how detailed the artist was in depicting the European styles of building. Next, we have Soul Land 5. Though this manhwa was dropped over 6 months ago, it can be considered a new manhwa. The main reason why it made it on our list is because it brings different world-building elements to the table. I know that many people might decide to skip this because of the previous Soul Land series, but I will ask you to wait a bit, as this manhwa is different from the old Soul Land. This one has a clean panel compared to other Soul Lands with messy panels. In this manhwa, our MC was reborn in a world where beasts dominate, and humans are nothing more than mere slaves to the beasts. Not only is our MC looking for his lover who got reincarnated together in this world, but he must also work hard to rise in this world where the beasts dominate the whole planet. This is quite an interesting manhwa that I'll recommend you read if you haven't. The artwork is quite excellent, though the characters resemble the ones in the whole series. Coming next we have Apex Future Martial Arts. You can also find this manhwa with the title, Logging 10,000 Years in the Future. In this manhwa, our MC constantly had the same nightmare where he got chased around by zombies. This made his health deteriorate to a point below a normal human being. And because of that, he was looked down upon by many, as with his health condition he couldn't join the Superhuman Academy. A few days into the final tests, he got annoyed in the midst of the nightmare and killed the zombies chasing him. Suddenly, he inherited the memories and the martial power these zombies had when they were still alive. He later finds out that this is actually a type of system that lets him travel 10,000 years in the future. And this is actually how ruined the world will be in the future. His mission is to learn all the advanced martial arts of the future and prevent the destruction of the world. This is a good manual with insane artwork and fight scenes. Next, we have Returned as a Martial Genius. This is quite an amazing one. Though it is a new manhwa, it made it on our list because it took us out of the traditional Muram world. When Monster Gates appeared on Earth, each continent was asked to choose its theme, and Asia chose Muram's theme. Our main character, who did not inherit the martial art technique of his clan, was expelled from his clan and could only become a lowly D-rank hunter. He later dies in action but gets a second chance by regressing. Now, he decided to change his path and get an SSS class technique. This manhwa has the potential to be big. The storyline will hook you, coupled with the amazing artwork. Next, we have My Spiritual Pet as a Female Zombie. If you love manhwas with lifelike artwork, like me, then this is it. In this manhwa, our main character transmigrated to a world where people level up by signing a contract with a spiritual beast. Unfortunately for him, the previous owner of his body had already contracted a weak zombie. This zombie spiritual pet is considered useless and unable to level up past level 10. Luckily, he got a system to help him in this journey of survival in this new world. If you love Astral Pet Store manhwa, then this is definitely a good manhwa for you to pass your time. Like I said in the beginning, this manhwa has an awesome artwork, and the main character is quite a likable fellow. Next, we have Superstar from Age 0. This is a new manhwa dropped this July 2023. In this manhwa, our MC died while on set as a supporting cast member, even though he tried his best to be an actor. While dying, he hoped to become an actor in his next life. Miraculously, he got a second chance and was reborn as a baby. When he was 7 months old, he remembered the memories of his past 100 life, from when he was a slime, to being a fairy and many other life forms. And the skills he got in these life forms had been stored in his consciousness. Now, with the knowledge of his past 100 life and skills, he is determined to be the protagonist and a mega superstar and actor. I strongly recommend reading this manhwa when you are having a bad or stressful day. It will melt your heart with its comedy and how the MC's cuteness slays people. Next, we have the 31st piece Turns the Table. It is yet again another story about gods and demons playing games with human lives. Seriously, Korean writers are never tired of building worlds with Greek mythologies as references. Thankfully, this manhwa has a different plot compared to the usual entering towers, challenging dungeons from lower to upper floor, or the likes of omniscient reader's viewpoint. Though it has a lot that's similar to ORV, it is only at the fundamental level. In this manhwa, our main character has been having dreams from the age of 5. In his dreams, he kept playing a game with masked individuals, until he got beaten up like hell on the day when the game was supposed to go live. It turned out that he was playing the game with gods, and the said game was supposed to create madness in the human world. They planned this so that they could use the despair of human beings to restore their divine powers. After he was tortured and sent back to Earth, the main character vowed to complete the game and take his revenge on the gods, even though this game was built in a way to make it impossible to clear. This is an incredible manhwa. I especially recommend it for people who love manhwa with puzzling plots. The artwork is incredible and excellently complements the storyline. Next, we have Revenge of the Iron-Blooded Sword Hound. This manhwa revolves around our main character, Vikir. He was a cruel and loyal dog to the Baskerville family. He did every dirty job you could think of just to get the recognition of the family. However, he was betrayed by the family and shamefully executed in public. Fortunately for him, he got a chance and regressed to when he was still a baby. With his previous knowledge, he is dead set to monopolize every resource and get his revenge on the family head, who also happens to be his biological father. This is an incredible manhwa with intense scenes, and the artwork is also excellent. So, do check it out. Now that I have given you this list, let me know in the comments section the name of your favorite manhwa. Do not forget to like and share this video with your friends. They might be looking for a new manhwa to read. Peace out.